Getting connected. All right. Love it. I love it. Welcome, welcome. Go ahead, say something in the chat. Let me know you're here. Gonna be getting started here, talking today about environmental adaptation because, well, things are getting bad. But we'll give just another minute. Let maybe a few people come on and join. Welcome, glad to have you. Go ahead, say hello in the chat. We're going to be getting started here any second. All right, I'm going to try to get comfy today. Today's a bit of a doom and gloom stream. So I'm gonna try to stay relaxed, so I don't just start getting angry and sad and stuff. This climate report just was released. This intergovernmental climate. What does the P stand for? Something on climate change. Yeah, it's looking bad. Of course, this is not news. Every time a big report comes out, it always shows that it's worse than all of the worst previous predictions. That's a pretty consistent trend. And the point is, we've already crossed many critical thresholds. There are more to come, but there's a lot of irreversible damage we've already done. I was just looking over the report. One of the things was that ocean level rise is very delayed. And so we've already seen 20 centimeters of ocean level rise, but no matter what we do, it's going to continue for the next 10,000 years, effectively. And that's just, that's how the system works. It's how it functions. It's a multi-millennia process, and it's trying to equilibrate to where it is now, or where the carbon levels are now, and the temperatures are now. And as we continue to go up, it will continue to try to catch up, but it's just going to take a really long time to do so. And there's all the knock-on effects, right? There's glaciers melting that didn't have any salt in them, that are now decreasing the salinity of the oceans. There's melting permafrost that is releasing more carbon into the air. Of course, there's all the deforestation. And then, there's just the destruction of life. There's a lot. And I love talking about all the things we have to do to work on it and reverse it and try to recover. One of the things that I think is incredibly important is artificial carbon capture and geologic sequestration. What humans have done in a couple hundred years normally takes nature hundreds of millions of years. And we did that artificially. And so to undo it, well, look, I don't care how much genetic engineering you have, you cannot increase the rate of natural processes by a million X. So there are definitely artificial things that we like that ultimately we have to have scaled artificial carbon capture. But that's not what I'm trying to talk about today. Today, I want to talk a little bit about just recognizing the reality of our near, mid, and long-term future. The summer where no food grows will be upon us sooner rather than later. Increases in natural disasters, floods, droughts, we can't run away from this anymore. Like we're at the point where some of our resources now need to start. I mean, a lot of our resources need to go on fighting against all the damage we've done, but some of our resources need to go into keeping ourselves alive. This is a reality that a lot of scientists, environmental scientists, have recognized, and they are in grief counseling for it. There are a lot of scientists in grief counseling right now. It's a big deal. I mean, a lot of medical professionals too, but of course, that's very COVID related. And I don't think it's something that the public has really come to accept or understand. I don't want to say it's quote unquote too late. I don't think humanity is doomed yet. And there's disagreement on that. I'm trying to be optimistic, but I do want to be realistic at the same time, and recognize that we're going to have to figure out how to do a lot more stuff indoors and in places that are higher up off the ground. Like we can't do it on coastal areas, and we're going to have to learn how to grow enough food indoors and recycle reduce, reuse, and recycle our waste indoors. Like we're going to lose a lot of the leverage with nature that we've had before. So let me give an example. In the 1970s, there was an overpopulation scare, but then somebody invented a strain of rice that could basically be grown anywhere in the world, any time of year. Well, that's about to not work anymore. That the climate is changing so dramatically and so drastically that there are parts of the world where that rice is not really growing so much anymore, and that's just going to continue. And so this is just a thing I want to recognize and just put out into the ether of like, we need to put all the resources we can into undoing the damage we've done and reversing the knock-on effects, but we also need to put resources into how are we going to survive when on a planet that is inhospitable to us. And we don't have all of those answers. Like we need sunlight. We just do. I mean, I don't care what geoengineering projects you want to do or how much artificial vitamin D supplements you have. I mean, lack of sunlight, also like hurts our vision. That's why so many people have to wear that's one of the reasons, that's actually a big reason a lot of people have to wear corrective lenses now, is because we spend so much time indoors. Thinking about physical activity, and again, but of course the biggest thing is food and waste, and waste management, how we deal with that. There are lots of interesting advancements happening in hydroponics. Of course, we're getting better with like solar, photovoltaics, and other sources of energy generation. But yeah, I just want to recognize, want to recognize that reality, that there's a certain degree of, we got to start thinking about this. We got to start having these conversations. Like, it's going to be a little bit dystopian, which is unfortunate. That's not the world I want. That's not the world anybody wants. But it's going to be a reality. That I do think is unavoidable. While I do think the destruction of all of humanity is avoidable, I don't think that extreme adaptation is going to be unavoidable, and it's going to be unpleasant, and it's going to be forced on us too, to some degree. We're going to get to a point where we might reach a point where we're going to have to start rationing food, which sucks. We don't need to ration food today. We produce enough food. It's about distribution. Of course, some of the parts of the world that aren't getting the food have trouble growing food where they are, in part because of climate change and our environmental crisis. But I don't have any like big solutions. Like I'm usually a very solutions focused person. There's no one thing. But I just want to recognize that reality of, yeah, I mean, humanity as a whole is gonna be entering survival mode. I don't have like a time scale or timeline on this, but whatever it is, it's probably gonna be sooner than we're expecting it. Human ingenuity has pulled a lot of crazy stuff out from underneath ourselves before. We've pulled off some pretty amazing things, but I just want to spend the least amount of my life. I mean, being locked indoors already sucked during the pandemic, and we didn't like that. I don't want that to get worse. I don't want that to become our entire livelihoods. So, sorry, it's all doom and gloom today. If you have questions related or about other things, anything separate or different, go ahead, throw them in the chat, either over here on Instagram or up here, YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, Twitter. We talk about whatever. Also, I might be changing the time, seriously. I don't know if I'm going to stick with the 1 p.m. on Thursdays. I think I'm going to switch to evenings. I don't know what evening I want to do. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday evening. I need to promote it better, but I should be getting my website. If you want to check out some of what I've put up, some of the policy, I've written a lot more on a variety of policy stances. I don't have them up on the site yet, but if you want to read them ahead of time, as I'm finishing them up, you let me know. Go check out my pinned tweet on Twitter. Just DM me. But yeah, kind of low energy today. I'm just a bit tired. I'm a bit saddened by this climate report. I'm glad that they were very aggressive about it, though. That the messaging that the people who were talking about it were like, they didn't hold back. They were like, no, it's awful, it's bad. There's no what ifs. This is not a maybe situation. This is like it's already bad, and it's gonna get a lot worse. So, but this is what my platform is about. Is we need to ensure that people have the mental capacity to care about these big problems, which means pulling them out of scarcity mentality, or pulling them out of poverty to get them out of scarcity mentality. It requires our voting methods to be consensus-based, to incentivize consensus rather than polarization. So star voting, approval voting are two prime examples, particularly in the United States. We need to have quantifiable, continuous public feedback loops, and those platforms need to the interaction on those platforms needs to be addicting to like actually get people involved. And then, of course, just trying to speed it up and address division directly, through forming genuine human connection with people we disagree with, but also legislative side of separating news and opinion, applying fairness doctrine, and decoupling press from the profit motive. But that's my platform. That's where it starts. That's how we actually begin to actually do the things we need to do. Okay, I've dragged this out long enough. I'm gonna end it, and maybe I'll have something a little bit cheerier next week. I have a guest or two in mind I might bring on, but and tomorrow, actually, you know what? I know I'm lagging here. Tomorrow night, if you check my Twitter, I'm going to be doing a Twitter Spaces interview with Jenny Q. I don't remember what the name of the thing is. Ooh, that's not good. Here, I think I can pull it up. Oh, that's not the site I wanted to pull up. I'll get it here. Where is it? Come on. Load. You can do it. I believe in you. Oh, you just joined. I was just about to end the stream, but if you have any questions for me or something, you throw them up. I can keep talking. It could be. I was just talking about that we need to actually adapt to our dying world so that human beings can survive on it effectively. Yeah. So tomorrow, Friday at 5 Pacific, 8 Eastern, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. Jenny Kuta talking about the infrastructure bill. Yeah, but just check my Twitter for it. All right, that's it.